Greetings, respected judges, and hello, dear viewers who are viewing it at the moment. I am Anshika Upadhyay from Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore campus. I have done my work on the following project, Random Key MTA Security, with two of my colleagues, Ms. Niharika and Ms. Divya. Before going ahead with my project details, let me discuss let me discuss briefly what exactly is MTA. So I think it's very obvious that it's none other than an encryption algorithm. Before going ahead with what is MTA, let's discover what is TEA. Okay, TEA is um, a short form of tiny encryption algorithm. This algorithm was designed by Dr. David Wheeler and Roger Needham in the year 1994, and that was when it was published, this work, for the very first time. And as and when it was published, it created ripples in computer science society in terms of cryptography, because it was a really efficient algorithm. Let me tell you that it falls in the class of symmetric key algorithms. That is also known as the private key algorithms. That means that only one key, which is the so-called private key, is known to all the systems that are participating in the communication setup, along with the central setup, the central system, that is the monitoring system, for both encryption and decryption process. So if we have some of the cryptographic background, or if we have a little knowledge about it, so we may understand that there are two kinds of encryption algorithms. One is public key encryption algorithm and one is private key or symmetric key, the class under which TEA falls. So in public key algorithms, I think a very bright example of that can be RSA algorithm, which is a very efficient algorithm. It has a public key which is known to all other systems and a private key which is known to the system, and it is private to only that system which is going to receive the information from that secondary system. So in such a communication setup, none of the this particular system is not vulnerable to losing its crucial information to that secondary system. It can very easily set up a communication process. The other system, the secondary system, is going to use a public key which is known to everyone in order to encrypt its message and send across to this particular system. And this system is going to use its own private key in order to decrypt the message and again encrypt any message that it wishes to send across to that secondary system. So you can understand that this system, which is crucial, that it is storing some crucial information that it does not wish to lose to any other systems in the setup. It doesn't have to rely on the fact that whether they are reliable systems or not. It can still retain its crucial information as its key is not known to the other system. However, in the symmetric key algorithms, that is the private key algorithms, in which its name is so symmetric because there's only one key which is used for both encryption and decryption process. That means this system, whose information we don't wish to leak out to the others, and the other systems are both using the same key for encryption and decryption, that is for sending and receiving messages. So, I think that is the very first shortcoming of such encryption algorithms, because in the first place the key is known to all the systems. So in case if one system becomes unreliable or it becomes an insecure one, then the information can likely to. I'm not saying that it will get hacked, but yes, there are chances because already the key is known. So TEA comes under this class of symmetric key algorithms. The one reason why symmetric key algorithm is kind of desirable sometimes is because when we don't want, when we have to implement security in such systems that are power intensive, uh, they need very less power in order to operate, and they are battery operated, so we can understand that the power consumption is a very crucial factor for them. They don't want to, they cannot afford to go for very high, beyond some threshold amount of power consumption. So they would actually prefer to go for something which is low cost and obviously low power consuming. So they are quite likely to go for symmetric key algorithms. Now, one question arises: why don't we go for AES? Why TEA? When algorithms like AES are well established and they are already in use, and they are already very efficient, and we are assured to get the right amount of security in that, we are assured the right security in that, then why should we opt for any other newly coming encryption algorithm? The reason for that is that even though definitely there are many powerful algorithms like AES under this class as well, but the point is that again they go for very complex computations, mathematical computations that requires a lot of memory, a lot of power, a lot of cost. And since let me come straight to the point here, our motive is, our focus is on embedded systems. We are focusing on embedded systems. So in embedded systems, we don't always go for very high power and very high cost, because we usually need we usually have very low power requiring systems, and definitely cost is in any case always a concern for us. We always want to have lesser cost rather than greater cost, and especially when we are talking about applications like RFID. And RFID security has become the talk of the town nowadays. It is really the need of the hour. So in such systems, in RFID systems, we need less power, less cost, and also great amount of security. So I claim that such kind of encryption algorithm can actually help in such systems. Let us see why exactly TEA can overrule powerful algorithms like AES in terms of cost, ease of implementation, low power consumption, etc. Let us see how. So we see here, first of all, TEA is not subject to any patents. Yeah, it has always been open, and there have been lots of suggestions on how to improvise on the algorithm and how to make it even more efficient and even more secure. Let us explore the advantages of TEA. Well, first of all, it's Feastel block cipher that follows Shannon's rule of diffusion and confusion. Feastel block because there are 64 cycles. Basically, if we talk about the very original TEA code, then it was just 7 lines of code in C language. The main body of the code included the loop, which had 64 cycles. Now, what are these 64 cycles? Each of these 64 cycles consists of some bitwise operations operating on the bits of the key as well as the plain text in order to, create a very confused and diffused mixture of both of them, so that finally whatever output comes out, no one is able to guess how it came. So it's very different from the conventional thumb rule of prime factorization that is normally used in designing encryption algorithms. It is totally different from that. It is not utilizing any of the prime factorization concepts. Rather, it is coming from the bitwise operations on the bits of the key and the plain text, confusing them and diffusing them. So each of these 64 cycles is called a Feastel block. Yes, as I mentioned that there were only 7 lines of C code. So obviously that implies that it's such a lightweight cryptographic algorithm that can never be thought of. Next, yes, it's extremely suitable. In fact, it was designed for this very purpose itself, keeping embedded systems in mind that require very high performance in extreme less power consumption, and there should be definitely ease of implementation. The computation should not be so time taking and power consuming, and also they should not be too memory consuming as well, because memory is again another concern. We cannot have too much of memory in small embedded systems, and definitely low cost. So all these concerns are there. We ideally want all these things to be achieved besides security. TEA actually guarantees to assure all of these. Well, yes, the one benefit, the one feature in TEA that was seen that actually overruled AES and other powerful algorithms was this one point that was seen, that it actually showed a resistance towards differential cryptanalysis. That actually assured everyone that TEA is actually a very powerful tool, and it is extremely powerful and extremely useful when it comes to low power systems. Ideally, giving all these advantages along with a very high level of security, and this really attracted a lot of spectators towards TEA, although it didn't become so popular because of some of its advantages that we'll be talking about now. But still, it really attracted a lot of people because it actually assures us a very high level of security. Now coming to demerits of TEA. Now we looked at so many advantages of TEA, but TEA is not all that perfect, okay, as it looks like as of now, till now. It has a lot of demerits, and let us look at it one by one. First of all, it is a symmetry key algorithm. That itself makes